There are some places in the world which were lost to time, forgotten by everyone but the earth. Sometimes, however, these lost places don't want to stay hidden. They have secrets to share if we know how to listen. In this corner of southeastern Turkey, an ancient temple complex known as Göbekli Tepe rises out of the arid hills like the forgotten heart of a dead god. This vast circular structure predates the pyramids of Egypt by thousands of years. It was constructed during the 10th millennium BC by an unknown people whose purpose in life was to serve a mysterious deity. But after centuries of worship, this forgotten temple was abruptly abandoned. And then just as quickly, it was buried under layers of sediment and debris, remaining hidden from human eyes until 1963, when it was accidentally discovered by a local farmer plowing his field. Today, Göbekli Tepe is the oldest known temple complex in the world. Its many pillars adorned with strange alien-like creatures have inspired awe and wonder in all who have seen them. But there's so much about this site that we don't know. Like, for example, who actually built it and why. Scientists have had a number of theories regarding the people who constructed Göbekli Tepe. Some believe that these people may have been the forefathers of the Kurds, while others think they may have been ancestors to the Hamitic peoples. But since the discovery of the site, no one has ever come close to answering the question of why it was built, or why it was abandoned so suddenly. That is until now. Because recently, scientists from a Turkish university decided that they would try to unlock the mysteries of Göbekli Tepe once and for all. Their plan was simple. The temple was made up of several large circular enclosures, each filled with pillars decorated with strange figures. But one of these enclosures had always been off limits to explorers due to its intact clay seal, suggesting that it contained something sacred. And so the team planned to open that sealed chamber to see what secrets lay inside. On the day of the dig, cameras were set up to document the event live. After a few hours of painstaking work, the clay seal was broken, and the previously unexplored room was finally open. Inside, the team discovered a small collection of animal bones, along with a humanoid skeleton. And though this skeleton was clearly male, one of his bones was twisted unnaturally, suggesting that he didn't pass away in a natural way. In fact, this skeleton was clearly tortured before he died. And soon after the discovery, the team began to suspect that this skeleton may have belonged to a priest who was sacrificed in order to appease the gods. But at that same moment, another disturbing development was taking place. Every single team member began experiencing terrifying dreams every night. And in these dreams, they were all speaking an extinct language from the Neolithic period. At first, the team thought that their collective subconscious was simply reacting to the violent history of the temple. But then the dreams became more vivid, and the words started to take shape in their minds. Eventually, the team was able to piece together these fragmented thoughts into full sentences. And what they discovered was beyond anything they could have imagined. It turned out that they were speaking the language of the priests who built and maintained the temple all those years ago. And the words they were saying held a terrible secret about the nature of the site itself. Göbekli Tepe was not just a temple. It was a tomb. The priests believed that the world was flat and that beneath their feet lay the underworld. To reach the underworld, all they had to do was dig straight down. And so they built a giant well right underneath the center of the temple. But whenever someone climbed down into the darkness, they never came back. This discovery explained everything. Now the team knew why the priests had been so obsessed with appeasing the gods. It was because the gods were actually demons that lived beneath the surface of the earth. And any time the priests ventured too deep into their realm, they were dragged down into the darkness and never seen again. But just as the team was coming to terms with this horrifying reality, another even more disturbing development took place. Their dreams became more intense, and they were being pulled deeper and deeper into the Neolithic past. It felt as though the priests themselves were reaching out across the millennia to drag them down into the abyss. It became clear to the team that they had stumbled upon something truly evil, and if they didn't escape the site immediately, they would be trapped forever. So they fled, and somehow, deep down in the recesses of their minds, they managed to block out everything they had seen and experienced at the temple. Years passed and the world moved on. But deep down in the ancient ruins of Göbekli Tepe, something evil stirred in the darkness. It was patient, waiting for the next foolish mortals to stumble upon its lair. And wouldn't you know it, the explorers weren't gone for long before new explorers arrived at the site. Eager to uncover the secrets of this mysterious place, these new explorers were excited to see what they could find. But little did they know that they were about to make a horrifying discovery that would change everything. As they began to explore the site, they noticed something strange. It was obvious that the previous explorers had been there recently, yet the area had already been completely reburied. And then they saw it, a large mound of dirt covering the entrance to one of the enclosures. Clearly, someone had been digging at the site recently. But who would do such a thing? As they carefully removed the dirt, they uncovered a series of strange symbols that had been carved into the stone. These symbols looked similar to the markings on the pillars throughout the site, but they were unlike anything they had ever seen before. As they continued to excavate the area, they realized that there was something buried beneath the ground. With heavy hearts, they began to dig, knowing that whatever they found would change history forever. And as they finally unearthed the object, they couldn't believe their eyes. It was a monolith. This massive stone pillar was covered in strange etchings and symbols, and it was emitting a strange psychic signal that seemed to resonate deep within their bones. The explorers knew that this monolith was the source of the psychic energy that had been tormenting them in their dreams, and it was still active. Whoever had reburied the temple had done so to prevent anyone else from stumbling upon the monolith and its terrifying powers. And so the explorers knew that they had only one choice. They had to flee the site as fast as they could and never look back. As they ran through the desert, they could feel the psychic energy of the monolith burning into their minds, trying to drag them back into the darkness. But they were too quick for whatever evil lurked within the monolith, and they eventually made it back to civilization. However, the experience changed them forever. They could never speak about what they had seen at the temple without trembling. And eventually, they all succumbed to the horrors of their experience and passed away. But the monolith remained, broadcasting its evil psychic signal into the world, waiting for the next foolish mortals to stumble upon its lair. And so the cycle of terror began anew. As time marched on, more and more explorers were drawn to the site, but none of them ever returned. For the evil that lurked within Göbekli Tepe was too powerful for any mortal to withstand. Eventually, the entire temple was reburied, hiding the monolith and its terrifying power from the world. And so the secret of Göbekli Tepe was lost once again, only to be rediscovered by future generations who would suffer the same fate as those who came before. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a thumbs up. Also, be sure to check out our other videos for more thrilling tales.